Welcome to another episode of Purchase to Profits. I'm Seth Fergusun. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our daily interviews with successful real estate investors. And I've put together the top 7 key market drivers I look at when analyzing a real estate market. Go to sethferguson.org to download your free copy. Our guest today is a self-made millionaire who has been investing in real estate for the past 10 years. She has experience in residential property, non-performing second mortgages, private lending, and commercial property. Lindsay Gordon joins us today from the beach. Lindsay, welcome to Purchase to Profits. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. I'm sure everybody's jealous right now of where you're at and the backdrop, and you've got the ocean, you were saying, right behind you.
Yeah, it's hard to show it because it's always too sunny over there. You won't see me, but maybe it's prettier actually. So.
Yeah. Well, it's always too sunny, so just rub it in the wound, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking out my window right now, and it's like rain and clouds and horribleness. So. All right. So let's. I'm really interested to learn about your real estate goals. So where are you looking to take real estate now?
Well, I've definitely taken a little bit more of a passive role in real estate. I've been lending a lot to other people who want to fix up properties throughout the States and even in Puerto Rico. So it's been a lot nicer to give me more freedom to pretty much do whatever I want, to be able to help other people to do the harder work. But I still enjoy that, hustle and grind and doing the hard work. So I bought some properties recently that I'm trying to get myself back out there, but it's always hard.
Yeah, for sure. And at what point, because there's always that transition where you go from being very active to that more passive role, at what point did you know it was time to make a bit of a switch?
I think when I moved to Puerto Rico, I realized a lot of things about working virtually. I work virtually all the time. And even though I don't always like that because I have to sit at my computer and I'm a very active person, I definitely am better when I'm in front of my computer, getting stuff done and sending people out to do different things and different tasks for me. It's been very helpful. So we've been outsourcing a lot of stuff since we moved here.
For sure. And were there any signs, I guess, with your portfolio or your lifestyle where it was, hey, listen, like I want to be less active? Because I'm sure there's people listening or watching right now where, they're feeling they're in that grind and they might want to make that transition over to a more passive role.
I think the market has just dictated what I've been doing as well as my move to Puerto Rico. There's definitely a lot more to do here than when I was back home. Everyone was working 9 to 7 p.m. and didn't have time to do anything. So I definitely wanted to work all the time. But here, there's pretty much always someone to do something. So it's nicer if I have flexibility.
For sure. And I have to ask, what brought you to Puerto Rico where you're at right now?
Originally I came because I found out about Act 20 and Act 22, the tax benefits.
Yeah.
So that was a big business decision, and I didn't even really know what Puerto Rico had to offer when I came. I just picked up and left and found out that there's palm trees and lots of other really cool business opportunities here and people and the beach. So it's pretty nice.
Yeah, for sure. And for those of the listeners who don't know, can you just explain briefly what Act 20 is all about and all the tax benefits?
Yeah, so Act 20 is exporting services. So if you set up your operations in Puerto Rico and you live in Puerto Rico about 6 months of the year to prove residency, then you can export your services and pay 4% in federal corporate tax for all of your tax implication. And Act 22, that's the one that I mostly do. Any mortgages that I buy throughout the U.S., and sell, or any properties I buy and sell in Puerto Rico, I pay 0% in capital gains. So it's super helpful.
Yeah. And that's not like you didn't misspeak or anything like that. You said 0% in capital gains.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost worth the move, not only for the taxes, but, you get the beaches, you get the ocean, you get all those benefits, right?
Yeah, and I think the coolest part that the people who come here and they really integrate with all the other people that have come here, it's such a cool community that I've never found anywhere else.
Yeah, for sure. And how did you even get started in real estate going back? Because you've been doing this for about 10 years now.
Yeah, I got really lucky. I tend to put myself out there in crazy situations, and so it's not necessarily just luck, but it was lucky too. I met someone right out of college that was interested in doing real estate, but their skill set was very different than my skill set, and so they knew the construction, they knew a lot of business ideas, big business. And for me, I'm like someone who can get stuff done and super interested in learning new things. And I'm not afraid to try new things and fail. So I was a good person in making them push themselves harder. And that got me involved in the whole entire business.
Yeah, gotcha. And did you get going doing fix and flips, or what sort of properties did you get started with?
Yeah, I think I ran the whole gamut like any good real estate investor would do. I would call to try to wholesale deals, and I definitely did like 3 fix and flips my first year in the first few months, and I thought I really liked that part of it better than wholesaling. So I quickly switched, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to buy a bunch of rental properties, and I did that. So I just kind of went through like the whole stream of things you can do.
Yeah. And, looking at your business today, what would you say is your number one challenge?
Ooh, my number one challenge might be different than other people's. It's that I do have a strong desire to do and to work. And when I give out tasks and then I don't have a lot to do myself, for me, it's like a personal challenge, I think. Other than that, everything kind of comes as it comes, and I'm happy for that. So,
yeah. And I would say that's a pretty unique answer. I don't think anybody has said that before.
I know. Yeah, I'm very different.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And what went into building your business where you could work remotely? Because I think that's a dream a lot of people have when they first get started in real estate. So what sort of tips would you give to somebody starting out, or maybe looking to change their business setup?
I think it's all about being forced to do it. So just move to Puerto Rico and you'll have to. I knew it all, but I lived in the Philadelphia area. I have Philadelphia rental properties, but when I was there, I would try to have other people do tasks for me because I knew it would be a very time-consuming thing. But it's harder because you can still just get in your car and go. And when you want to add another, I like to work, so I just want to do everything. And I think the biggest thing is like forcing yourself to step out of that. If it's like literally forcing yourself with like distance or some other way, maybe just having some sort of person that makes you do it.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to your like entrepreneurial personality, where you just find a way to get stuff done, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And Puerto Rico was our big transition where we had to work virtually, and that was always my goal. But when we went to Philadelphia, we opened an office. We became very not virtual, and it was the opposite of what I thought we were headed towards. So
yeah. And as you were building your business, did you hit any plateaus where you had to break through them?
Yeah, I mean, with any new deal, I've done very different types of real estate. So anytime I have to do something new, there's always a plateau of getting new realtors involved, getting new people to help you, and reaching out to different services and things like that. So I think with each deal came like a new thing that I had to learn and grow from.
For sure. And again, in that situation, you're forced to do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And with yourself, have you developed any routines or rituals that have helped make you successful in real estate?
Um, this might be a weird answer, but I think coming to Puerto Rico, it helped me to realize things that maybe I was doing in the States that were more unhealthy. Like I try to sleep 8 to 10 hours a night. I try to eat fruits and vegetables and like just be very healthy. I don't drink anymore. I never was a big drinker, but I always found that if I did have like even one drink, I'd wake up the next day feeling tired. And so things like that, I just been very like healthy and active, just trying to, it's easy to do in Puerto Rico. I just like rode my bike here and I walk a lot and just trying to move because I didn't do that before. And
Yeah.
I think that helps me to like be more successful.
Yeah. And do you try, because in your day, you were just saying that you end up with not enough tasks to do because you delegate everything. Do you try and front load things and get most things done in the morning? Or how do you organize your day to structure yourself for success?
I've been really trying, I'm a night person, so I try to not stay up too late because usually I'm just staying up on my computer, but then that limits the number of people I can talk to or get responses from. So I try to get up around like 8:30 or 9, but I'm right at my computer. I don't waste time getting ready in the morning. I just start going. And I'm just one of those people you like let me loose and I'll have everything done in like an hour. So
That's great. And looking back at all the deals you've done, is there a deal that stands out as a keystone deal that made a big impact on you and your business?
yeah, there was a deal that we got. So we came to Puerto Rico just for the tax benefits. We came here open-minded and found out that real estate here would also give us the tax benefits. So we found a large deal that we could purchase. It was about 55 properties in a package from a bank. And we were a little scared because, every time you think Puerto Rico is like going in the right direction, it would be like, oh, they're declaring bankruptcy now and you're about to buy like one of your biggest deals of your life. And so we were a little nervous, but in the end, it was the best thing that has ever really happened to us. So.
Yeah. And are you really looking for those more portfolio types of deals now where you're at? Or was this just like a one-off?
Yeah, we actually just closed on another portfolio deal. It's a much smaller one, so we're just trying to get our foot in the door with another bank here. It took us 3 years though to get them to sell it. So ever since we bought that one, we've been actively trying to buy more. It's just a process. So
Yeah. Well, can you talk to us a bit about the process of how you're sourcing these deals? Because it's not like you go out and they're listed on the MLS and then you can just pick them up. So how do you go about cultivating those leads and bringing it to a deal?
it's all about cultivating relationships, really, and knowing who to go to, knowing who knows who. And I think being in Puerto Rico itself has been super pivotal in that. It's a very small, everyone knows everyone type place. So that's been helpful. And then as well as the connections that I've made over the past like 7 years in the no business have been very helpful in getting real estate. I never would have really made that connection, but
yeah. And with the recent deal, the portfolio deal you mentioned, what jumped off the page when you got the deal? Like was it an email and then you looked at it? So what was the big blinking light saying buy me?
I think it was just that it was one of those situations where we had been talking to someone for years about buying stuff throughout the US, and they contacted us directly and said, we have this portfolio in Puerto Rico. It's going out to everyone, but we think you might specifically like it. And so they helped to get us really interested. And then we bid. I think it was only us and maybe one other bidder because it was in 2015 where Puerto Rico wasn't as much of a thing. So
yeah, for sure. And with a deal that size, are you raising capital from outside sources, or are you just using all of your internal capital?
we definitely work with private investors or like not banks, but something similar to in between a private investor and a bank type of financing.
Yeah, more like institutional kind of stuff.
Yeah, like not quite as like institutional as an institutional bank, but
That's the quote of the episode.
there's a lot of funds out there that will lend, but it's a little more structured where you still have to provide all of these different documents to them and they will lend. Or we do work with people that we've been working with for years.
Yeah, for sure. And you stress the importance of cultivating those relationships. So what advice would you give somebody to being very consistent with that follow up and those networking tips to build those relationships?
Well, I think the key word that you said was follow up. And
Yeah.
most people don't follow up. So I always just follow up with everyone on everything. And maybe I'm like over the top, but even if it's personally and I meet someone, I like make sure to get their number, because you never know when you're thinking, oh, I needed that person's number and now I want to contact them, and you have it. And I always thank like them for meeting with me, even if I just met them on the street. So I'm super like outgoing, and I think it's good just to put yourself out there. And I find that some people are afraid of this type of thing or interaction, and that's the one thing, like just getting rid of the fear is actually the biggest key to being successful. It sounds so easy, but if you can do it, then that's what makes me like, I'm not smarter than anyone else. I'm not anything more than anyone else, except for I'll just do it. And
Yeah.
don't really hold back. So
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing I find most people forget is if you call, let's say you cold call somebody for the very first time, they won't remember your name until 7, 8, 9, 10 calls later, right? You just have to keep on it.
yeah, exactly. It's nothing. There's nothing personal about it. Yeah, and maybe it's just not an opportunity for that person the first time you cold call them, and maybe it is by the 10th. So I don't ever really, I know I'm annoying. People would probably like describe me that way, but that's okay. I'm like always following up. I use my Gmail alerts and calendars, and I always make sure I remember everything, but no one's getting away from me without getting me what I need. So.
That's awesome. And you know what? I would rather be called annoying and have a very successful portfolio and have a great lifestyle than not be annoying and not have any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I always tell my business partner. So
yeah. So what sort of impact, we're interviewing you right now, you've got the ocean in the background, but what other impact has real estate had on your life?
Ooh. Aside from, Puerto Rico is kind of like a multifaceted impact on my life, because I have to be here for 6 months. I love being here, but it also has inspired me to travel because everyone here travels. And so it's not uncommon that you're just going to pick up and go to Europe for a month and go check it out and be able to work virtually. So I think all of those pieces together have had a huge impact on my life.
Yeah. And, what are your plans? Like, let's look ahead 10 years from now. Where do you see yourself and your business in a decade?
Ooh, I'm not very good at planning anymore. I think that's the Puerto Rico. But yeah, I always want to just learn and grow. So in any way that I can, I would love to have a family and do things on that side of things. But I would also love to be able to make a huge impact in Puerto Rico if it means getting these properties from banks that they're just doing nothing with, and being able to resell them so that someone's fixing them up or that I'm fixing them up. I think that would make me very happy, because I've already seen so much change in 5 years in Puerto Rico. I'd love to see a lot more.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And especially would you say you had said like making a change in Puerto Rico and the community, is that something that's driving you more than it was a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I think as I see the changes occurring, it makes me really want to be involved in that. A lot of investors have come down and have played a huge role in that. We haven't played as big of a role, but I would love to.
Yeah. And that's the side, sometimes in the media, real estate investors get a bad rap, but, that's the positive side of investing in real estate. You can make these tremendous impacts on communities.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think they also don't necessarily portray how hard of a job it is to invest in real estate. It's probably one of the most stressful things I've ever done, which of course I love because I'm busy, but it's very stressful. It's not like necessarily the profits are good, but it's not like you're not doing anything for it. You might be having really crazy nights or staying up to do something, and there's always a lot of pressure. So it's not for like the lighthearted.
Absolutely. But at least now, if you're feeling under pressure, you can just go for a swim.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. So, Lindsay, if somebody's like to reach out, learn more about what you're doing, maybe get in touch about some future projects, where can they find you?
Oh, they could reach me on LinkedIn. My name there is Lindsay E. Gordon, LindsayGordon. They can reach me there. I also have a YouTube with the same ending, Lindsay E. Gordon. Instagram, wherever they want to find me, they're more than welcome to reach out. Facebook.
Perfect. That's great. Well, Lindsay, I just want to say thanks so much for taking the time today and sharing some really good stories and some excellent tips with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. And to you, our viewers, I wish you well on your journey from purchase to profits. See you next time.